This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Icon Podcast. I am your host, Gianna, and today we have the opportunity of talking to Icon agent Keith. Welcome to the show. Thanks for your time.
Oh, thanks. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. Keith, so let's take it back all the way to the beginning. Who are you? Where are you from? How did you grow up to be a real estate agent?
It's a short podcast. I don't know how much time, but how did I grow up to be a real estate agent? Well, so I guess the short version is I was working tons and tons of jobs and going to school, and really kind of the catalyst was, so early on in our marriage, my wife and I had a little girl, and we had said if we were going to have another one, my wife would stay home full time. So I was in nursing school, and literally it took me 4 years and all kinds of, it's pre-nursing school. And I was like, I got accepted into nursing school. I got my notification, and she said, well, I'm pregnant. And I was like, oh, dang. So I couldn't go to nursing school because if you know anything about nursing school, it's pretty arduous.
Yeah, I had a couple friends in nursing school. My sister's in nursing school. It's not for me.
No, yeah. So I was like, there's no way, I can work and, go to nursing school. So we were like, what else can we do? Well, it just so happened we had some experience doing some reno and some this and that. So we scraped together some investor money and started buying and selling houses. Did a few of those by buying county courthouse auction houses on the first Tuesday of every month. Got pretty good at flipping them, and then said, hey, let's get our license. So, and then we jumped into real estate, and it's been pretty much all go ever since.
Awesome. Well, how did you get introduced to EXP, Keith?
My good friend, Elizabeth Riley, actually, she brought, everybody knows.
I interview her next Monday, actually.
Oh, really? Yeah. So we actually, we've been friends for a long time, and she was actually the one who brought me over to Keller Williams. And she was like, you need to come check out this thing. It is dope, and it's going to be the next thing. And I was like, well, all right, I'm in. So let's go. So I went and checked it out, and I was like, this is crazy. There's no way this is legit. And sure enough, it's legit. I moved my license over pretty quick. And I was agent number 2,161. And now there's 85,000 agents. And my wife, for perspective, came in 3 years ago, and she is agent 50,300 and something.
Wow. So, and that listeners actually is the, epitome of being somebody that like and trust, introducing you to EXP, right? So had anybody else maybe introduced Keith to it, he probably would have like, oh my gosh, let me take a second look. But he had that pre-existing relationship, liked and trusted Elizabeth Riley, who's got like 2 trillion people in her downline. We have 83,000 agents here at EXP, and I think 82,500 are probably Elizabeth Riley's. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, 82,000 are Elizabeth. Yeah. Well, and it's, and that is like saying something because, she's dramatically influenced my business. She's been a huge help. She's been a great friend, and it's never been about the business per se. She's giving her friend a hand up, and it's changed my life. So thankfully my wife said yes, we came over, and the rest is, I guess, history already.
Well, that's awesome. Great introduction, by Elizabeth Riley. She knows what she's doing over here and how to attract agents. And Keith, now that you're over here, there's like the opportunity to earn three streams of income, right? So you get the commission, obviously, then you can earn your cap back in stock or stock options. And then we've got rev share. And, there's an online world, there's training every week. There's so much at EXP. So what's your, I just bit my tongue. Ow. What's your favorite part about EXP? What keeps you here?
The Icon program, without a doubt. So the Icon program has radically, impacted us. So the first time, actually, this month I'll qualify for my 5th Icon.
Awesome.
And I would have been 6. I would have been a small number of people to actually have 6, but my first year I didn't. You had to apply for it back then. Now it's more automatic, systems and processes. But back then, and I had qualified, and it wasn't until like 3 months after my window expired, my anniversary rather, that I was like, hey, I realized and they were like, yeah, no. And I was like, dang it. So,
yeah.
But yeah, the Icon program for sure. So an Icon program is then, again, pivotal because they give you back your cap in shares.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first got my shares back, it was at like $3 a share. And then it skyrocketed up to $180 a share. And then, it's kind of come back down because everything is getting kind of beat down right now, but it'll probably spike again, most likely. And so we never really messed with those shares, but yeah, 5 times it's really started to add up, and it's been a huge value add. So it's been massive. Yeah.
That's awesome, Keith. And before we dive into more things production, more things business, all things being an Icon agent, let's talk about you, right? So you've got some kiddos, you've got a wife, you've got, I'm sure, friends and family and everything else that goes in between. So how do you draw the line between work and play? How do you, prioritize or chase a work-life balance?
Delegate,
Mm-hmm.
delete. So like all the D's, or distribute. I don't know, just delegate, distribute, delete. Whatever those are. But yeah, there's the D's, right? So I have over time really just try to leverage other folks' talents and giftings. I'm not the only one good at something. I've kind of learned that over the years. And I think as agents, we tend to kind of stranglehold these things in our business where we think we're the only one that's good at this thing or that thing. And I started realizing like, hey, my clients are actually writing offers on homes, even if I don't show them the home.
Right.
And, and honestly, like it's way less liability for me not being at the showing because I don't ever get accused of talking them into buying something. So, so it's been really awesome for me just to be able to kind of like leverage other folks, paying them, kind of just in Sphere Rocket, like just being introduced to Sphere Rocket, like the idea of like, hey, and we're not in the program yet per se, but we have a meeting set up. So we're super pumped about the idea of like introducing VAs into our business. But yeah, just leveraging the talents and giftings of other people and just getting our life back, because maybe we lose a little bit of money, but we gain time, and time is really the most valuable commodity we have.
Absolutely. And that's awesome, Keith, and avoiding burnout mode and, leveraging those are some important things, especially in this industry. And, with high production, you've got to make sure you're taking care of yourself. So let's talk a little bit about that production, right? Because you've got to hit a certain amount, you have to cap out, and then 20 transactions after to qualify to be an Icon agent. Mm-hmm. So what does your average housing price look like in your market of Texas? And, how many houses do you have to sell to be able to cap?
Okay, so in our marketplace, well, you had mentioned kind of the burnout. So I'll answer that maybe in brief story form. Like 3 years ago, I think we hit something like, I don't know, it was like 20 million, whatever. And I did like 60 something transactions to get there. It was like, for whatever reason, my price points were really low. Mm-hmm. Most of my friends, are just everyday people. They don't have sums of money. I don't really kind of rub shoulders with people with big bank accounts per se. So I had to do a lot more transactions to get the volume. Well, that's great, except my life sucked. I was burnt out. I was mad all the time. I just, so one of the things I started doing was really trying to transition to figure out how we could do less transactions and more volume. So we actually made kind of a strategic move out to a smaller town outside of Boston, and we're really trying to own the town that we're in. You may know a young lady by the name of Vanessa Nunez that you talked to.
I talked to her this week, I think. I just hold on, let me see. I just made a really cute little quote from her that I haven't shown her yet, but I have to show you and the listeners because we're getting ready to kick off our Instagram, right? And she was so fun. She was kind of like look at how cute this is.
Oh my gosh.
With a little quote, right?
So, yes. Oh man. She's my hero.
She was an awesome
dude, she's awesome. And that's, again, speaks to the caliber, like surrounding yourselves with so many vulnerable, generous people like Vanessa and Elizabeth, and they've changed my business. But so like moving out to this area, we've been able to leverage farm and ranch. And I always kind of like, I'm going to be $1 million listing agent on the West Lake, Austin, Texas. And I never did that. Instead, we just listed a $1.8 million farm and ranch this week. We got another 1.6 that we got coming. I just contracted today. We're about to contract, and goes on a $3 million parcel of land this afternoon. So coming out this way, I was able to accomplish the goal of really reducing my transactions. I think this year, for example, we may get there, but I'm at like 23 closed million in volume, but I've only got 30 transactions closed. So that's crazy because I've doubled the numbers and cut the transaction numbers in half. So it's coming out here was kind of a strategic play. But that everybody's business shapes up really kind of differently.
Absolutely. And Keith, when it comes to iconing, there's also more than that. You have to give back culturally. There's a cultural commitment. So you kind of get from EXP what you give here. So you can teach in the world. You can be a mentor. Gosh, what do you do and why?
Well, I mentioned the example that was really set for me. And man, I just, after seeing the example that was set for me, I was like, I can't not respond to that, right? Like I can't receive all of that generosity and benefit from all of that grace and contribution into my business and not reciprocate it to some degree. So we mentor. We also we do some coaching. We try to get into icon conversations and have those discussions. But really the biggest thing is that when I do mentorship, just trying to really be available for the folks that are, and you have to be careful, right? Because they're the people, like you just have to be smart about where you invest your time. But yes, like we're trying to be as or more generous as we were the beneficiaries of when we started this to the people that are up and coming now.
Absolutely. You're right. And, just giving all the information away to the future of the industry, it matters, because you don't want to be working with, not to be frank, but you don't want to be working with a bunch of idiots in this industry, right? It's so frustrating.
Yeah. And I would say you don't want to be working with people who are going to do nothing with it. Like my time is valuable, and I love seeing people's lives changed. And it's just, for me, it's so, helpful to know that, it's like, it makes me feel good to know that maybe I play a role in that somehow.
Sure.
And so, yeah, you're absolutely right. You want to invest the right places for sure.
Absolutely. And Keith, my next question when it comes to you and being an icon agent is, what's your favorite part about it, right? You can earn that cap back in stock, visit EXPCon and shareholders and earn more stock. You get those nice big shiny glass trophies that I see. I can't get my finger straight right there behind you. So what's your favorite part about iconing? Why is that a goal or even a standard for you every year?
Well, it's kind of my big goal every year. I try to line up my year around just making the icon. And, the big thing is, so Glenn Sanford, our CEO, was like, I want to make EXP so attractive that you're really kind of stupid, essentially, to not hang your license here. So, and to be honest, I feel like they've accomplished that goal, and whatever kind of lack maybe that there could possibly be, they're always working on improving the offering and just making EXP the biggest value add in the business. They've definitely changed how real estate's done for sure. And people don't believe it. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe that. And people, I tell people about that, no, that can't be. And I'm like, I'm telling you, that's how it is. So for us, like when you stop selling, you stop living. I mean, essentially when you stop selling, everything stops. And I mean, that's pretty much across any vertical, but in our business, you are, it's extremely demanding. There's a ton that is required of you emotionally, knowledge, time, everything, the sacrifice of your family, it's a pretty, I think, demanding strain. So like when you get out of the business, you stop producing, like that's it. The pipeline is dry. And so having an exit strategy, having a plan, having something to lean on, because unless you're doing your own, retirements here and there, whatever, you've got nothing. So for us, it was another way that we could, and honestly, I never thought it would be as fruitful as it has been. I mean, it's been immensely fruitful. It's actually outperformed all of the other ways that I've tried to prepare for retirement. And so, I mean, in spades. So for us, that's what kind of just keeps us going. We love being, it's being recognized and all that. That's great. Getting the trophies, that's all cool. But like at the end of the day, these trophies are going to be in the trash can somewhere when I'm dead, right? But how are my kids set up for the future? You know what I mean? So
legacy.
I'm the only one who cares about those trophies. Nobody else cares about those trophies. But it's like my kids do care. Like, like my family's like, how am I going to be positioned for my kids, future, those kinds of things, That's why we strive for this every year, and that's why it's our biggest goal.
Absolutely. That's awesome, Keith. And, you talked a little bit about being, skeptical of EXP. So we'll dive into that after this question. But, this one's going to be about new people coming over to EXP, whether they're new to real estate in general, or maybe they're just new to EXP, right? And of course, that Icon Award is so talked about here. Everybody wants to strive for it. It's an incredible accomplishment. So they're coming to you, Keith, and they're like, I want an Icon in my first year. Is that possible? What's some advice for them or some major mistakes to avoid?
Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible. And that's what's cool about it. It's like, on one hand, here's the thing. People always have an excuse as to why they can't do something. But right out of the gate, yes, you can do whatever you set your mind to do. You can do it. Obviously, that has to come with a strategy, a plan, and all those things. But yeah, if you want an Icon on your first year, you absolutely can do it. You just have to grind. You just got to go get it. And people are like, well, the market's saturated and all these other things. I'm like, I just don't see that. I am in Austin, which probably has one of the highest concentration of Icon agents in the United States, and I'm in competition, right, with all of these people, but I'm really not. And I would say the other component is leverage those people, because at EXP, the difference here is that you benefit from collaboration. If you do great, everybody benefits. Nobody ever wants to keep any information from you at EXP. So if you're going to want to succeed, then you need to immediately plug into producing agents to see how they've done it, and then do what they tell you. Otherwise, you're going to be going it alone and reinventing the wheel. The other piece is, with price points kind of the way they are, it doesn't take long to cap. With a $16,000 cap here, you can do it in 2 transactions. So that means you can quickly knock out your 20 beyond that to get back home. So if you're in a smaller marketplace with, the smaller average price point, then you're going to have to do a ton of deals. But if you do the same thing you would do in that other marketplace, except you do it in Austin where the prices are climbing so fast, you're going to do fine. And I think that it's a lofty goal, but it's definitely achievable. And I would say plug in, get help, and get a plan. 100%.
Absolutely. Keith, that's great advice. And when it comes to EXP, there's lots of skeptical people, right? So were you skeptical of EXP when it was first introduced to you?
Yeah. So, that works for some people, but it wouldn't work for me.
Yeah.
Until I realized, I'm already hitting the numbers at my current firm that I actually left a 90-10 split at my previous boutique brokerage to come here for an 80-20 split. And it's the best decision I ever made. So I've more than made that up. And I was looking at my numbers and I was like, man, I'm skeptical, but like I'm already pretty close to doing what's required to get this. And that was when prices were like in the 300. I remember my first listing was like 320,000. I was doing cartwheels. I was like, oh my gosh, I've got, this massive listing, and it's like, now that's like Tuesday morning, right? So it's, so yes, skepticism is great, but I mean, there's so many testimonials of people who are crushing it. It just, you can't ignore it anymore.
You're right, Keith. And that being said, if you could go back in time and talk to yourself who was skeptical of it, or, somebody's watching right now and they see the greener grass at EXP, but they're like, oh, it's a pyramid scheme. It's a cult. I don't know what to do. What would you have to say to get them to come over sooner and make the jump?
Well, I would say real estate is just a cult business. It's just part of the deal. If you're selling houses and you're succeeding in every way, you're a lunatic. I mean, that's just, my wife regularly tells me I'm a lunatic. And so, I mean, it's, so I would say, yeah, there's some definite, loose marbles involved, but it's, as far as like seeing it all work and play out, it's working. I mean, people are killing it all over the place. And so if you're on the fence and you're thinking, man, I should, I don't really want to look at this. I'm not really interested in this. I would just say, just see some hard numbers, compare it to what you're currently doing. And honestly, like, that's the thing about it. It's like, when I made the decision, I was like, I can keep doing what I'm doing. I know what I'm getting here. But if they're even remotely close to being true, then I will just do what I'm doing here or there, and I'll get all these other added benefits and additional revenue streams.
Sure.
And our net worth is dramatically improved as a result of like taking that lead. But I mean, like, you don't really have anything to lose. It's your business, right? Like, you're going to be doing what you're doing, here that you're doing there. So why not give it a shot? And so the other thing that I would say, John, is that people tell me it's a virtual brokerage. I'm all on an island. Now I say, if you're in an island, it's your fault.
Yep.
If you're not plugged in and you're not talking to people, then really it's your fault. Like, I have people grabbing. It's not because I'm an icon agent, because I wasn't an icon agent in the beginning, and I still have people like roping me in, wanting me to be a part of things. And if you're in an area where maybe there's not a lot of EXP activity, then I would say, like, get plugged in on Marketplace and all these different places and find them, and then create a group. There is a way, and so, but EXP, I've never been more involved with more other agents at any other brokerage. And all of the other brokerages have been brick and mortar.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. It's a great, summary of what EXP has to offer. And if you guys have questions, reach out to Keith. He's got awesome access to many influencers at EXP. Ask him questions. Come straight to the source, right? Don't listen to your brokerage. Come talk to the people of EXP that are here. They're reaping the benefits of it, and they're killing the game. Keith, are you going to be at EXPCon?
Well, yes. So I have to be as an icon agent, but I also want to be. So yes, we actually registered and we got our tickets, and we're super pumped, man.
Awesome. Well, I hope to see you in Vegas. And as we creep up on 25 minutes here, is there anything that you want to leave the listeners with as we wrap it up?
Man, I would just say that as far as this company and what it's offered my family and what it's done for my family, it's the best decision I've ever made. I was optimistic. I didn't listen to the naysayers. We've kind of charted our own course, and it's been, I literally have not done one thing different that I would have done anywhere else. And we have seen a 10, 15, maybe 20-fold return on our work and our efforts that EXP has just handed me, that I never would have received anywhere else. And it's changed our lives.
I love it. If you guys have any questions about EXP, make sure to reach out to Keith. We live in a virtual world, so everybody's pretty easy to get a hold of. Keith, thank you so much for your time today, and maybe I can buy you a drink in Vegas.
I'm in. Let's go.
Sounds good, Keith. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.